This week, history shifted forever. The world officially crowned its very first trillionaire. But what does $1 trillion actually mean? The human brain cannot comprehend it. Let us break down the vast structural difference between a million and a billion. Think of it in terms of time. 1 million minutes is just under 2 years, but 1 billion minutes takes you all the way back to the Roman Empire. Now try to scale that up to a staggering 1 trillion minutes. That takes you back 2 million years. It completely breaks our cognitive understanding. To fully understand this extreme, super-rich wealth, we must analyze their passive income. A standard billionaire earning 5% interest generates roughly $1 million every week. Extend that same logic to a trillionaire. They pull in $50 billion annually. That breaks down to an unbelievable $1 billion in passive cash every week. Or more accurately, a massive $137 million every single day. That is a staggering $1,600 entering their pocket every single second. They generate this unparalleled wealth without ever getting out of bed in the morning. This trillion-dollar wealth is not a simple pile of liquid cash in a bank. It is far more dangerous. They own critical, real-world physical infrastructure out there. They own the satellites your military, your weather forecasting, and your governments absolutely need. When society needs these vital resources, we are forced to pay them a toll. This unprecedented trillionaire status happened incredibly suddenly on the stock markets last week. By selling minor shares, traders instantly recalculated the true worth of the empire. The reality is, they were a trillionaire long before the public even noticed. It highlights exactly how incredibly naive society is being about untaxed exponential growth. We are simply making no serious effort to track how fast they grow. Let us look back 6 years ago, when the financial landscape was vastly different. Back then, the absolute richest tycoon on Earth was worth £100 billion. Today, that entire historic net worth is less than a third of the trillionaire. This terrifying reality is driven by one basic economic physics: compound interest. If you allow an untaxed billionaire class to exist, this outcome is mathematically inevitable. They operate exactly like massive financial black holes inside our fragile economy. Their enormous gravitational pull cannot help but suck in everything around them violently. This process directly causes the inevitable, aggressive gobbling up of your family's wealth. When you see that trillion-dollar figure rise, you are witnessing a dark future. Western national economies are growing at a painfully slow rate of 1%. Meanwhile, the hyper-rich class is expanding their net worth at 40% annually. We are witnessing the literal reconstruction of the historic medieval feudal system. The absolute king at the apex owns everything, building a massive protective entourage. This entourage includes politicians, media outlets, and wealthy traders defending their interests. It is no coincidence that the super-rich are systematically buying up major media. They heavily control the public conversation, aggressively pushing asset prices into outer space. As a direct consequence, ordinary families are completely squeezed out of asset ownership. You soon won't be able to rent property in major global megacities. Look at higher education. Just 20 years ago, university was widely affordable. Today, elite university spots are monopolized by families with infinite spending power. Even basic healthcare is shifting. Consider the modern crisis in corporate dentistry. There are more practitioners than ever, yet care remains entirely out of reach. Why? Because their valuable skills are diverted exclusively into high-end cosmetic procedures. The super-rich don't just grow the economy, they actively consume your resources. To survive, comfortable middle-class families will eventually be forced to liquidate everything. Yet, many asset owners actively oppose wealth taxes. It is complete madness. It operates exactly like turkey birds enthusiastically voting for the arrival of Christmas. National governments are becoming effectively bankrupted by protecting this untaxed dynamic. State leaders are left with only 3 brutal, short-sighted strategic options. By refusing to tax billionaires, you are directly choosing to tax yourself. History provides a stark warning. Look at the late Industrial Revolution period. Unchecked wealth concentration inevitably allows one tight elite class to conquer everything. Consider 18th century China, the powerful middle kingdom of global commerce. They believed the distant explosion of Western industrial wealth was absolutely zero threat. They buried their heads in the sand, completely ignoring the rapid economic acceleration. Then, advanced automation arrived and completely swept away their local domestic industries overnight. This is practically identical to what is happening today with advanced artificial intelligence. They are building systems designed to actively outcompete you for your daily job. Look at the terrifying modern battle over natural water and massive data centers. They redirect the water your kids need to power servers that track you. It is incredibly naive to look across the sea and assume power doesn't matter. Remember the famous cinematic metaphor of the man falling from a tall skyscraper. As he passes every single floor, he reassures himself. So far, so good. If you are not deeply worried about a trillionaire class, that falling man is you. History teaches that unchecked tycoons will always attempt to monopolize the entire globe. They convert your vital farmland into luxury export production for their own enjoyment. This global international billionaire class is exponentially raising a powerful economic army. You cannot compete by entering a rigged game of corporate monopoly. The other player already owns every single property available on the entire board. If we play chess and you capture a piece every turn, I lose. We must halt this daily transfer of power. We must tax wealth, not work. Every critical economic prediction made on this finance channel has come completely true. The sky-high asset prices, the crushing inflation, and the brutal housing unaffordability. Go see daily life in a highly unequal, untaxed global territory. The vast gulf between hyper-luxury and desperate street poverty is absolutely horrifying. Our grandparents fought hard to secure a fair, highly progressive tax framework. We have allowed that structural economic dignity to be completely bargained away. The core lesson for all modern working investors is simple. Protect your capital. Stop the elite black holes. Subscribe right now to Macro Deep Dive. Hit that like button and protect your hard-earned investments at all costs. See you next week for another deep dive into absolute economic reality.